It's a classic pattern that feels extra cozy this season. With major holiday vibes too, this year the Fair Isle sweater is so popular. No matter your taste or budget, you can find something you love in this cold weather staple. Stylist Reachel Bagley with Cardigan Empire is here with advice to style Fair Isle pieces, as well as fill us in on a few other trending patterns. Great to see you.
Always good to be here.
So we say trending. These patterns never really go out of style.
These have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, but we can take a fresh spin on them, right?
We're extra excited about them.
Yes, yeah.
And there is a fresh look, and I want to ask you about that, because each of these patterns that we'll talk about today that do lend themselves to the holiday look, they can sort of tip cheesy in the wrong way.
Oh, absolutely. Because they've been around so long, you can get into that like cliche holiday sweater or like overdone look. And I think there's just a couple things you can do to keep it fresh and a little bit more edge oriented.
There you go. Because with so many, I mean, now ugly Christmas sweater parties are the thing. So
you just don't want to be accused of an ugly Christmas sweater when that wasn't your intent.
You
Nothing
got me.
wrong with an ugly Christmas sweater.
You got me. All right, let's start with Fair Isle. And this is Fair Isle imagined in a totally bright, happy way.
Absolutely, yeah. This one is super playful, super bright. And of course you can do it in the more classic colors, you know, but I would just say pick something that goes with your complexion, right? If you're warm complected, there's lots of stuff out there that has like the pumpkin like orange and feels very harvest autumnal. This one is definitely going to be great for somebody who loves the jewel tones, but have fun with it. The big thing about this one is I like it when it's just a little bit of Fair Isle at the top and not all the way down.
Okay.
Like sometimes, unless the pattern's small scale, it can just feel too much, right?
So there's your edge up
one focus, yes.
Edge up
it can make it a little bit more classic, a little bit more chic.
You say in this case it might be worth investing a little bit more.
Absolutely. This has been around so long. I mean, this came from Scotland, right? And so this has been done a lot, and you're going to be able to wear it for at least another year or two, right? And so I would say, especially since this is supposed to keep you warm, get a good quality knit, you know, get something you really love, and wear it for a couple of years to come.
This is darling, the way you put this whole look together. It's super fresh, like you talked about edging up a little bit. This totally does this. Where'd you get this?
This one is from Nordstrom, but you can find it all over the place. You can find it at Bowden. I mean, just search Fair Isle sweater, you'll find one.
All right, next, tartan plaid.
Oh, tartan plaid is so fun. One, I love the histories behind it, because like this one is a black watch plaid, and they each represented a different clan and everything,
I was in Brigadoon.
Oh yeah, see,
during my high school years, and they made us take, they had a whole, I loved it, a whole course for the class educating about the tartan. It was really fun.
Yeah, all the tartan plaids are, once again, a really classic piece.
Yeah.
One of the things they've done, and you'll see this in almost every single one of the patterns, is they've enlarged the scale.
Okay.
Right? So we've got a much bigger plaid here than you have seen maybe in years past.
And that's what we want?
Which makes it really fun. Yeah, you can totally make it big. If you're doing it on the bottom, it's always easier to do a smaller scale, because we tend to enlarge when we have larger patterns. So if you don't want to enlarge on the bottom half, you don't have to.
Okay.
But this is definitely something you're going to see all over the place this fall and winter.
You say this is one area you might want to stick with the more classic, deeper color.
Yeah, absolutely, because you want to stick with the colors that are the traditional, you know, tartan plaids, like your Stuart or, you know, your Grand or whatever. It's a maximalist plaid to begin with. It has more colors, it has more lines. It's not just like a simple check. And so you already have a lot of colors going into it to begin with. And so if you have a lot of colors and a lot of bright colors, it's gonna feel a little chintzy, a little cheesy faster.
All right.
So when you stick with those darker, more rooted colors, you're gonna have something that's really timeless.
Do you see the just currentness that's pouring out of her? This is helping us all feel and look a little more polished, a little more updated with these classic patterns. All right, next, the pattern that I am seeing everywhere, and I really love it. Teach us how to wear houndstooth.
Okay, houndstooth is so fun, and once again, the scale has gone crazy on this one. There's ones where the houndstooth is like as big as your hand, right?
Okay.
This is not your puppy tooth. This is your big, giant dog houndstooth. And I love all the colors on this. They've done lots of modern like interpretations on it, and it's really just very geometric. You've taken your classic check, you've added some more points, and you'll see this in all kinds of different patterns. I think you guys have already looked at like checkerboard prints for the season, and just some of those like, it feels a little bit 70s groovy, you know, like where it's just a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder. And it's something really fun, like something like this you might think, oh, that's for dressing up. But we've just layered it here on top of what would be considered loungewear, and you have sweats, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, I'm fancy, right?
It's like you're in my head. I'm sitting here trying to dissect this and get into your head, actually. Like, how fun is it to be Rachel? And to be able to look at a closet and then pull out a look like this, we can still be comfortable and polished. That's kind of the hybrid we've landed on.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And you could still dress a simple black dress up over top of this, whatever, but it's really fun to take your casual lounge pieces that you've been sitting around all day and just throw something on top of it and feel really put together.
You're calling this a micro trend, as in come and go, so don't splurge.
Because it's so bold and it's so over the top, I wouldn't say go and, spend at the top of your budget here. You can go at some of the fast fashion, some of the big box retail stores. Everybody's gonna have it, and you might not feel it like wearing it, a couple of years from now, and that's okay. You can send it down the road and not feel guilty.
Not feel bad about it. Rachel, thank you so much. Where can
Thanks
we get
for
more
having
great
me.
advice from you?
Well, I'll be posting all kinds of stuff on cardiganempire.com, but you can also find me on Instagram at Cardigan Empire.
Cardigan Empire is where you want to go. Thank you so much. I'm inspired. Bring on the fair aisle.
Yeah.